So for today, I'm going to be working questions 9 and 10. We have to sketch the graph of each function, okay? So I remember something that we saw before. When my first number was a positive, when my first symbol was a positive, I knew my graph was opened up. So I expect question number 9 to be a U opened up. When my first sign was a negative, looking at number 10, my graph was a U open down. So that gives me a good idea what to expect. Now, we just talked about factoring the beginning of the week. So I'm going to use the idea of factoring. So what I'm going to do, I have the f of x is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 8. My polynomial x squared minus 6x plus 8, I'm going to let this equal to 0. And I'm going to factor. And this is going to give me two very critical points. I remember for factoring, I'm thinking, all right, two numbers that multiplied equals 8. When I add them is equal to negative 6. I'm thinking negative 2, negative 4. And then that will give me x minus 2 and x minus 4 as my factors, and this is equal to 0. I remember yesterday we talked about solving for 0 when two parentheses are equal to 0. So x minus 2 equals 0, and x minus 4 equals 0. If x minus 2 is 0, let me move my negative 2 as a plus 2, so I get that x is equal to 2. If x minus 4 is equal to 0, let me move this minus 4 as a plus 4. I get that x is equal to positive 4. Now, these are what we call the zero values, or some people call it the x-intercepts. X equals 2, x equals 4 is basically where do I cross the x-axis? So I have it here, positive 2, positive 4. Some people call it the zero value. Some people call it the x-intercepts. Cool, I have 2 points that are important on my graph. It would be nice if I could find my vertex. Now, two ways how we can do this. One way, okay, I need an x and a y value for my vertex, right? My x value, I'm going to use my intercepts. My intercepts were 2 and 4. My x value on my vertex is a number right in between. So what number is right in the middle between the 2 and the 4? Well, 3. Okay, so my vertex, my x value is 3. Again, the number between the zeros, the 2 and the 4, the number between was 3. So that's my x value of my vertex. Now, what's the y value? Well, I would just plug in the value that I have for x in my equation. 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 8. I'm using 3 for x. I plug it in. I type it on my calculator. 3 squared minus 18 plus 8. So 9 minus 18 plus 8. That gives me negative 1. Well, that's my y value. So my vertex is the point 3, negative 1. That's right here. Okay, so I have the x-intercepts. I have a vertex. I'm going to say have a very good idea how this graph looks like. Looks like that. It is a U open up, which is what I was expecting. So that's great. As long as I find the vertex and my intercepts, I'm good to go. So let's take a look at question number 10. I'm expecting this to be a U open down. Okay, so that's fine. What I'm going to do for factoring, I can do it when my first number is positive 1, right? So let me factor the negative out. Inside parentheses, let me write x squared minus 8x plus 12. Do notice that because I factor the negative, I switch all my signs. So I got x squared minus 8x plus 12. So I'm going to factor x squared minus 8x plus 12. Okay, so I'm thinking two numbers that multiplied equals 12. When I add them equals negative 8. Well, that will give me negative 2 and negative 6. So I have that x minus 2 equals 0. And I also have that x minus 6 is equal to 0. Because remember, I factor that as x minus 2, x minus 6. Have to let each of my parentheses equal to 0. So if x minus 2 is equal to 0, I'm going to move the minus 2 as a plus 2. I get that x is equal to 2. If x minus 6 is equal to 0, I'm going to move the minus 6 as a plus 6. I get that x is equal to positive 6. So good, I got my two intercepts, 2 and 6. Now, what's the number that is right in between the 2 and the 6? Well, 4, right? So my vertex, the x value is 4. To get the y value, I'm going to think of this as negative 4 squared plus 8 times 4 minus 12. So basically, I'm thinking negative 16 plus 32 minus 12. Well, that's 4. Okay, so my y value is 4. Here's my vertex, 4, 4. So I have a very good idea how this graph looks like. I have the vertex, my two intercepts, looks like a U looking down. There you go.